Well, the Dodgers are already back to making some moves, and a lot of fans are saying that the first move was a savage one. This guy made one of the most important plays of the entire World Series, and, well, we'll talk about what happened to him a little bit later. Also, they weren't done with this guy. They dropped a former monster and all-star. I'm going to miss seeing Gonzo out there for the Dodgers, I'm not going to lie. The Tampa Bay Rays made a ballsy move as well. We have a huge update on their former closer, Pete Fairbanks. I can't believe I'm saying that. Mets fans are punching air right now because the Braves stole their secret weapon that became not so secret after a while. Their first base coach, he's gone. Staying with coaches, the Padres finally found their new manager, and the Guardians, they just let go of a former Cy Young candidate who is finally healthy. Oh, great. Awesome. Can't wait to talk about that as a Guardians fan. If you're new here, my name's Fuzzy. I recap the game of baseball every single day, so if you never want to miss out, hit that subscribe button. We gained over 550 yesterday, and we didn't even post. How many can we gain on a day that we do post? And also, don't forget that this series would be impossible to make without channel sponsors SeatGeek and Underdog Fantasy. Use code Fuzzy. We have some breaking news to begin today's recap. I know we've talked about this guy ad nauseum over the last few days, but Murakami has officially been posted as of this morning, so we will know his decision before Christmas. He must sign by December 22nd. He gets a 45-day window, and the odds are officially out. The Padres are leading the pack. They have the Red Sox at number 2, followed by the Mets, Dodgers, and Yankees. Let me know your predictions. I'm going to come back to this video once Murakami signs. I'm going to do a giveaway to a subscriber who gets it right. So again, let me know your predictions down below, and if you're a subscriber, you have a chance of winning something pretty cool. We have more breaking updates. Fernando Tatis Jr. is coming away with his second platinum glove, and a lot of fans are saying, how did he win his second? Pete Crow-Armstrong, did he retire or something? He was clearly robbed, and I'm going to have to agree that PCA was definitely robbed of a platinum glove. But you guys have to remember that the Platinum Glove Award is a fan voting award as well. You mix in some stats as well, but fans, I mean, I feel like everyone knows who PCA is, but maybe not as much. Fernando, he was great, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't better than PCA. Bobby Witt Jr., he's also being accused of robbing someone of a platinum glove. Everyone's saying that the AL Platinum Glove should have gone to Ceddanne Rafaela of the Boston Red Sox. I agree with that, but Bobby Witt Jr., the fact that he went from one of the worst defenders in baseball as a rookie to back-to-back Gold Glove winners and now a Platinum Glove winner, that's pretty cool. The Rockies made a splash. It's not with a player, but a character in Moneyball. If you guys have seen Moneyball, the character that Jonah Hill played, I know he went by Peter Brand in the movie, but he was actually based off a real-life person, Paul DePodesta, or DePodesta, I'm sorry if I botched that, but he just officially got hired as the president of baseball operations in Colorado. I guess when Moneyball was being made, Paul was still in Major League Baseball, so he didn't want his name to be muddied by Hollywood executives that might have made him look bad. He looked pretty good in that movie. I wish that they would have just used his name. Instead, it was Peter Brand. But yeah, the Rockies are trying to go with a Moneyball approach. They're going with the Moneyball guy. Almost forgot to mention the Rockies did actually make a player move because the Marlins, they moved on from Troy Johnston, who hit 290 with a 120 OPS plus last year versus righties. He was also a stolen base demon in the minors. He could be an awesome pickup, to be honest. He's going to really help out versus righties, especially with Michael Toglia, and he's going to have some spot starts out there in the outfield. I like this pickup. Troy Johnston, he could be a dude. We have some Padres moves. Again, we'll talk about the Dodgers in a moment. They officially have a brand new manager talking about the Padres. Craig Stamen is the new manager, and if that name sounds familiar, he was a workhorse out the bullpen. He spent 2017 and 2022 with the Padres, and he was one of those relievers that could throw 80 innings, no problem. They also brought back Ramon Laureano, who had 24 home runs and a near 140 OPS plus last year, so that's an easy $6.5 million option picked up. He still has a cannon, but he has to fix his reads on baseballs hit in front of him. He was one of the worst in baseball at that. Let's talk about why Mets fans are not too happy right now. Actually, before that, the Mets picked up two different players. They picked up Hwan, who was just let go by the Pirates. He's a defensive wizard, but that's kind of it. He's also very fast. Jose Castillo, he's going to the Mets as well. He's a 6'6" lefty. He's one of the best relievers in baseball at keeping the ball on the ground. But Mets fans are not happy because the Braves just hired Jeremy Hefner, the former pitching coach of the Mets. I guess they're not too upset about that. It's this one, Antone Richardson. Antone is one of the Mets' most beloved coaches in quite some time. He helped Mets base runners set a franchise record of 39 stolen bases in a row, and I mean, he was a big reason why Juan Soto almost went 40-40. He was timing pitchers and telling guys at first base to go. He was, I'm not even joking when I say a cheat code, but now he's on the Braves, a division rival, and Antone said that it was just Simple. They couldn't reach a settlement on salary. He felt like he deserved a little bit more compensation. Steve Cohen balked at it. I don't know why he chose to balk at this. I thought that Richardson did an amazing job, but maybe Cohen basically thinks that he's overvaluing himself. And one more small piece of Braves news, they picked up the former Cardinal Michael Siani. Michael Siani was waived by the Cardinals. This dude put up a whopping 16 outs above average defensively in 2024. He was a defensive monster, a quite literal vacuum out there. He also has a pretty good arm as well, but offensively, he's not been able to figure it out, so the Cardinals moved on. The Braves, they think that they can fix him. He might be their 2025 version of Eli White. And now it's time to talk about Pete Fairbanks. I still cannot believe I'm saying this out loud. The former closer of the Tampa Bay Rays. So they decided to give him a $1 million buyout instead of paying him $11 million and trying to trade him in the offseason. Pete, he got better at almost everything in 2025, but he's not been able to find the whiff stuff from 2022 to 2023. He's also going to be 32 years old, so the Rays, they're thinking to themselves, well, we're going to save $10 million, and I guess they couldn't materialize a trade market, which is weird to me, but they just decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and take this buyout, and we're going to use Edwin Ucita. We already traded for Griffin Jacks, Joe Boyle. He was awesome in the pen, so they're thinking that this is a shrewd and smart business move, but a lot of fans across the game are pointing at the Rays and saying, see, another cheap team is cheaping out and handing a stud to a playoff contender like the Phillies or the Dodgers or any other team that could use the services of Pete Fairbanks. Because for a lot of different teams, I'm sure that $11 million for a top-of-the-line reliever who's 32 years old, who still throws gas, is not very expensive. But then again, he's not been able to get the whiff stuff of the past. Whiff is when you throw a pitch inside the zone and a batter misses it. The strikeouts haven't really been there, but again, he just turned in a really impressive season with a 2-point-something ERA. This is the problem with Major League Baseball. It is not the Dodgers. I'm going to make a video on this because I'm so sick and tired of teams like the Rays, the Pirates, the Guardians, cheap teams giving up on fan favorite players that still have some gas left in the tank. I mean, are we just forgetting that the Pirates gave away Tyler Glasnow, and then the Rays gave away Tyler Glasnow, and then before that, the Rays gave away Blake Snell, and then after that, the Padres and the Giants, two division rival of the Dodgers, chose not to pay Blake Snell. I mean, it's ridiculous that people think the Dodgers are ruining the game when all of these cheap teams literally make smart baseball decisions, but they never make it past the first or second round. Like, their goal is just to be smart, not to win World Series. I mean, we're lucky that they gave away Michael Busch. Like, imagine if Busch was still a Dodger. I don't know if he'd be putting up the same stats, but that dude was a monster for the Cubs. This isn't new, but every time it just frustrates me. Like, I'm not saying Pete Fairbanks was worth $30 million, but he definitely earned that money, and the Rays said, nah, we're just going to cut bait and give you $1 million and you can go somewhere else. Well, that means that the Dodgers have a chance to pick him up. So let's talk about the Dodgers since we've been yapping about them. Actually, two more updates about the Rays, and then we'll talk about the Dodgers. I completely forgot to mention this, but they have officially moved on from Kameron Misner. He was DFA'd. He was a monster defender who almost hit 380 his first 20 games last year, and he barely struck out. He had a 15% strikeout rate his first 20 games. Then he quite literally got figured out overnight. He had a 40% strikeout rate the rest of the season. They are replacing Kameron Misner with Jake Fraley. Yes, the former Red. He's no longer a Red. He's a much more consistent bat. He's a solid platoon option and replacement for Misner. I like that move. And actually, super quick, I just saw this because we talked about the Reds. Austin Hayes, he was let go as well. He was and always has been a lefty destroyer. He hit .310 with runners in scoring position. A ton of teams are going to be in on Austin Hayes. He just wasn't worth the $12 million option to the Reds. The Reds also picked up Roddery Muñoz, who has a electric arm. He just cannot find the zone. But the Reds, they've been able to do wonders with Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, and others. I'm excited to see what they do with Roddery Muñoz. Okay, we got that stuff out the way. Let's talk about the Dodgers. Remember that game-saving play in the World Series where Justin Dean got put into the game as a defensive replacement, and he threw his hands up on a ball that left the bat of Addison Barger, and I mean, this was divine intervention. It stuck itself in between the wall and the floor. Justin Dean said, hey, this ball is out of play. I'm not even going to try. He's not a Dodger anymore. He's a Giant. Now, a lot of people are saying he's about to be 29 years old. He's only really a speed defense type of guy. There's just no room for Justin Dean, and I completely agree with that. They are going to bring in some new names, and there's just not room for a guy like Dean, but it's just crazy. He was a big part of the World Series, and now he's just off the team. Tony Gonsolin, Gonzo, a 2.5 ERA from 2019 to 2022. The dude was an all-star in 2022. He ended that season with an insane 2.1 ERA over 24 starts, but because of health concerns and the fact that Emmett Sheehan has just been, Emmett Sheehan is a dog. He's pretty much going to take the starts that we're going to be giving to Tony Gonsolin. You just don't have room for the guy, so you're doing him a favor by offloading him. The whiff stuff and the strikeout stuff is still pretty good, but he has not been able to find the zone since coming back. I would love the Guardians to pick him up, but then again, the Guardians aren't even keeping pitchers. We'll talk about John Means in a second because he was a Guardian. He's no longer. And one more thing about the Dodgers before we talk about that. Max Muncy, his $10 million option was picked up. So do the Dodgers even have room for a Murakami? Because they already have a DH, and he's kind of good, right? And now they have Muncy, the third baseman. So where would Murakami even play? We just talked about him. John Means had his $6 million option declined by the Guardians. $6 million for a former All-Star and Orioles ace who has a 2.6 ERA his last 2 seasons. Now, that is me playing extreme narrative ball because that 2.5 ERA came over 10 starts, and that's between 2 seasons. He missed all of 2025. John Means has had 2 Tommy Johns, but I guess the Guardians are content with that 6-man rotation that they used to end the season where they went 20-5 with the best starting pitcher ERA their last 25 games. I just feel like John Means is too good to pass up on $6 million for a flyer. I feel like that's cheap. Of course, the Guardians don't spend money either, so they're just going to skip out. So, yeah. We know that John Means is a former Oriole. Let's talk about one more former Oriole, Dylan Carlson. He was on the team last year. He's a former lefty masher and a pretty good defender. He hasn't really done any of that since 2022. He is gone. They are bringing in Leody Taveras, who is also 27 years old. Remember, he had that solid 2023 a few years ago. He was great on defense. He was really quick. He was an above-average hitter. He's just going to be a faster version of Dylan Carlson. What do you guys make of this move if you're an Orioles fan? And last but not least, the experiment in Minnesota is over. The Jose Miranda experiment. This guy was so good as a rookie. He had 40 extra base hits and an almost 120 OPS plus. Then he fell off a cliff, had a 55 OPS plus, regained momentum with an almost 115 OPS plus in 2024, while basically hitting 285. And then he barely got any playing time in 2025, had a 13 OPS plus in his short sample size, but he's still just 27 years old. And when he's right, he's a very solid bat. He's disgustingly bad defensively, like one of the worst defenders in baseball, and he's approaching Alejandro Kirk levels of slow. So let me know in the comments, would you take a flyer on Jose Miranda? Because the bat, when it's right, like I said, it's good. And then we have another recap in the books. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you never want to miss an update on the game of baseball, this is the place to be. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you learned something new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be safe.